Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to introduce Professor Collette Suda, Chief Administrative Secretary and Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, who's speaking here on behalf of the Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Amina Mohamed. Professor Suda is a professor of rural sociology from the University of Missouri, Columbia. In July 2018, she was appointed the Chief Administrative Secretary and Principal Secretary, State Department for University Education and Research, Ministry of Education. Before then, she was the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Energy, and the Principal Secretary for Science and Technology and for University Education in the Ministry of Education. Professor Suda was also Secretary for Gender and Social Development, Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Development. As professor at the University of Nairobi, she held various administrative positions, including Director, Institute of African Studies, and Director, Board of Common Undergraduate Courses. She was awarded in 2017 the Order of Academic Palms, Ordre des Palmes Académiques, by the Ministry of National Education of the Republic of France for distinguished academics in the field of culture and education. Professor Suda delivered her inaugural lecture, Formal Monogamy and Informal Polygamy in Parallel, African Family Traditions in Transition, at the University of Nairobi on the 4th October 2007. Please give a very warm USIU welcome to Professor Suda. Thank
you. The chairperson of the University Council, Dr. Lola Odubekun, the PS in charge of vocational and technical training, my colleague, Dr. Kevit Desai, the chairperson of BIDGO Kenya, who is wearing several hats, is not only a member of the Council of USIU-Africa, but is also the Chancellor of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul Tiambe Seleza, Chair and members of University Council, Board of Trustees, Management Board, distinguished guests, parents and guardians, faculty, staff, and students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to join the entire fraternity of USIU-Africa on this occasion of the 40th commencement ceremony. I congratulate all the graduates before us today on the successful completion of their studies. It has taken hard work, sacrifice, and dedication to qualify for the certificates you will be receiving today. It is my joy to join you and your parents and guardians in celebrating your success. As you embark on the next chapter of your life, I wish you the very best. I am confident the training you have undergone has adequately prepared you to transform the challenges of modern society into opportunities. I urge you to utilize your education creatively, not only for your personal development, but also for the development of our country. I also congratulate USIU-Africa for maintaining high standards in providing quality education and producing skilled and competent graduates. Your exemplary performance has ensured USIU remains one of the most reputable sources of skilled human capital in our country. I cannot forget to thank the parents, guardians, and sponsors who have worked hard to ensure that the young men and women before us today have acquired quality education. With a good education, they now have a fair chance in life. Before I proceed I want to make one very important point, that as we sit here, all of us, both the graduates, the faculty, the management, the council, the Senate, there is one fundamental fact that we all have to acknowledge, namely, that you cannot succeed alone in life. You can't. What we are celebrating today, the milestone, all the young men and women seated here who are going to be awarded various degrees have come this far because of the support they have received from various individuals, from their families, from their friends. And that support is central to the success that we are celebrating today. And it should be acknowledged. It can't be taken for granted, because no one succeeds alone. Ladies and gentlemen, as the graduates before us venture out into the world in search of gainful opportunities, I'm confident they will benefit immensely from the career services they have received in the course of their studies. I note with appreciation that USIU-Africa has a placement and career services department that has been offering excellent career services to its students since 1999. The Placement and Career Services Office has provided students with opportunities for internships during the course of their studies here, some of which have translated to full-time job opportunities. The provision of career services and internship opportunities not only prepares students for the world of work, but also guarantees that students have the skills needed in the marketplace. This makes it easier for them to access employment or to venture into self-employment. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Education recently launched a policy framework for the Office of Career Services in universities. These offices, functioning in a similar model pioneered by USIU in Kenya, are expected to partner with a variety of organizations and to serve as the intersection between skills development, innovation, market knowledge, employment, industry, and government. And that nexus is extremely crucial. We are training for the industry. And that is why it is very important for the young men and women who are coming out of our institutions of higher learning to acquire skills and competencies relevant to the needs of the market. Because if we don't do that, there will be a continuing mismatch between what comes out of our institutions and what the industry requires. The core responsibilities of this office will include partnership with industry to provide internship, apprenticeship, training, and job opportunities for students, providing an avenue to map the availability of market-relevant skills and propose change or reinforcement of curricula and training to meet the demands of the job market, and linking students with the private, public, and third sectors. I encourage all institutions of higher learning in the country to strengthen the Office of Career Services in order to ensure that graduates are well prepared for industry and that their aspirations, as well as those of the industry, are met. I also call upon employers to engage with these offices and propose areas of improvement to ensure maximum satisfaction of both graduates and the industry. As part of the commitment to harnessing the benefits of Office of Career Services, I urge our institutions of higher learning to put priority in identifying and nurturing talent with a focus on addressing the mismatch between education and the needs of the industry. That is intended to improve employability. Our learners possess a wide range of talents that could be nurtured to add value to our country, especially in the areas highlighted in our national development blueprints, specifically the Kenya Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda. I take this opportunity to recognize the efforts of USIU-Africa to mold their students into holistic individuals through in and out of class activities, such as group works and presentations, as well as co-curricular activities, including clubs and sports. I know the institution is also involved in the delivery of lifelong skills training for Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project that is positioning USIU-Africa as a leading university in the youth employability training space. These are key aspects of a holistic education on which we must continue to place emphasis. Ladies and gentlemen, in modern times, and indeed in the future, research will continue to play a key role in sustainable national development. The tremendous changes and progress we are witnessing in various fields of human endeavor across the world are being driven by research and innovation. Our universities must therefore prioritize high-caliber, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge research from both their faculty and students in order to spearhead development in our country in the same way that their counterparts are doing in the developed world. In this connection, it is encouraging to learn that USIU-Africa now has a new School of Graduate Studies Research and Extension, a new research policy, as well as increased research activities and grants. I am aware that the institution has also established partnerships, such as the African Development Bank's Coding for Employment Center of Excellence, which will be hosted at USIU-Africa. This is the way to go. And I highly encourage industry collaborations with institutions of higher learning to foster research and continuous enrichment of the education curriculum in all our universities, both public and private. The Ministry of Education, on its part, is committed to continually support research activities in these institutions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am aware that one of the challenges that universities are facing is recruitment of highly qualified members of faculty, given the shortage of academics with terminal degrees, where the national average currently stands at 34%. It is impressive to note that USIU-Africa has 71% of faculty who are doctoral degree holders. This is key in teaching and learning, as well as research development. I encourage all universities to endeavor to recruit competent members of faculty in order to encourage the graduates we produce are ready for the work environment. The ministry will implement the measures needed to facilitate recruitment of qualified members of faculty. We will also put in place policies to ensure students receive high-quality education that prepares them for the ever-evolving industry. In conclusion, I once again wish the graduating class of 2018 the best of fortune as they commence career in their various fields of professional training. As you venture out into the professional world, do not forget the road you traveled to get there. Do not forget the sacrifice made by your parents who worked so hard to afford you opportunities they themselves might not have had. Above all, do not forget the sacred trust that the nation requires of its citizens, particularly the elites, to energetically drive its development, and jealously guard past gains. As John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States of America, once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Instead, ask what you can do for your country." This convocation marks the day that this sacred trust is placed upon you. The baton for development is in your hands. Kenya awaits your manifestation. It is up to you now to not only run the race and win, but also break the records set by those generations before you. The most important thing, if you don't have personal discipline, it doesn't matter what other resources you have. If you are not ethical, it doesn't matter what other resources you have. If you don't have values, it doesn't matter what other things you're doing. You can't go very far. If you are not focused, you don't know what you want. If everything is a priority, then nothing is. If everything is important, nothing is. You have to decide what it is that you want to do with your lives. Your very young lives, you have hardly started. Dear graduates, hardly. You have hardly started this journey. So you need to maintain ethical standards in everything that you do. You must make wise choices. If you look at what has been happening in our social scene recently, it is extremely disheartening that we are losing young people for reasons that are absolutely unnecessary, if you ask anybody. Patience pays. Waswahili wanasema, mvumulivu hula mbivu. I wish you the very best as you commence this race. Thank you.